Yo, what is up, my Nakama? So my name is Daniel and I'm a first year medical student, and in this video I'm going to discuss intermittent fasting in medical school.
Came through dripping aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Blow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be.
So I've been practicing intermittent fasting for about 3 years now, and there are many types of intermittent fasting, but the one I do is a 16-hour fast with an 8-hour feeding window. Okay, feeding window sounds a little bit funny. But anyways, I'm just gonna share with you my experience with intermittent fasting since I've been doing it for so long. And this isn't gonna be scientific by any manner. I think I'm gonna make a separate video going into the research and the science behind intermittent fasting. But for now, I'm just gonna share my personal experience and how I think it's just a great tool to use every day if you use it effectively. So anyways, I get up in the morning, put on my wannabe doctor clothes, and my first meal is at 12, so I'll be fasting in the first part of the morning. And usually when I wake up in the morning, I'll make some pour over coffee or tea, or if I'm in a rush, I'll make an espresso. And when I make black coffee in the morning, I make sure that it is just black coffee. I don't add any sugar or creamers because that kind of destroys the purpose of the fast. The nectar of the gods. During the first 4 to 5 hours before I have lunch, so between 8 and 12 p.m. or 7 to 12 p.m. whenever I wake up, I'm actually extremely productive and very focused. In fact, I don't even eat breakfast before my big medical school exams, so I do take them fasted and they generally occur in the morning. And I find that I perform really well this way. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, there might be some science behind it, but since I've been doing it for 3 years, I've become quite comfortable with intermittent fasting. And I don't really feel any sort of extreme hunger before it's time to eat because I've gotten so used to it. And it kind of feels natural for me to be fasted. And I feel like I'm most productive when I am fasted. That's when I get my best work done. I think it's okay that when you're first starting intermittent fasting for you to feel very hungry, especially when you've been fasting for maybe 16 hours and it's the very first time you've been doing it. This is completely natural, and it took me maybe 2 to 3 weeks to get adjusted to this type of eating regimen. But 2 or 3 weeks in, it was already becoming really natural, and 3 years later, I'm doing it almost every day. Of course, I do break my fast, if I'm on vacation or during holidays, and my grandma makes these things called durumchiki, which are these potato pancakes that I eat with sour cream, which are so good. But besides like holidays and vacations, for the most part, I do intermittent fast every single day, with my first meal being at 12, my last meal being at 8, and I'll usually eat a snack somewhere in between. So as I mentioned, my first meal is at 12, and this meal is actually really huge. It's probably 1,000 calories if you were to count up the nutritional value of the meal. But the reason I like to eat 2 huge meals is because, I don't know, I kind of want to feel really full and satiated after eating a meal. I'm not someone who can really eat small meals throughout the day because otherwise I think I would just be constantly hungry. I kind of have to eat like one big meal and feel really full to feel like I actually had a meal. And I don't know, that's just kind of what works for me and keeps me in check, especially if I'm dieting. Because if I have 2 really huge meals throughout the day, I'll feel full after them and I'll be able to go to bed not feeling hungry, especially if my last meal is at 8 p.m. and I go to bed around 11 or 12. Because I kind of have a large gap between my lunchtime meal and my dinner time meal, I do eat some sort of snack usually before my workout. And this is about 1 hour before my workout, so maybe around 4 or 5 p.m. I will have some sort of snack. And my go-to snacks are usually just some sort of nuts or seeds, some sort of fruit or vegetable or some cheese. Actually, one snack that I really enjoy is kind of a protein yogurt. I take some Faye yogurt and some protein powder and I mix it up and put some fruit and honey in there. And it's just a really yummy kind of pre-workout meal to have. It gets me pumped, it gets me fueled to do my workout. So then I'll do my workout. And by the way, I train calisthenics, which is like a bodyweight type of training. I've been training calisthenics for the same time that I've been intermittent fasting. Because the reason I started intermittent fasting was actually to lose weight, because I think it's one of the best tools if you want to lose weight. You can obviously gain weight and gain muscle mass using intermittent fasting as well, but I think it is really effective for losing weight because you can still eat those big meals, but as long as you're in a caloric deficit and working out, doing cardio, it's real easy to shed weight that way. But anyways, I'll eat my snack and then about 1 hour later, I'll go to the gym or do a home workout. And once I've come back from my workout, I will shower and then I will eat my final meal of the day, which is another huge meal because I like having really big dinners. Just makes me feel full, and especially if I need to do some late night studying, I want to feel energized and refueled to do that. Generally, I meal prep on Sundays and I meal prep for all my meals of the week. But for the meal I had today, I kind of ran out of food, so I just made some kind of Trader Joe's heated up food, which is still good. I made sure that there was enough protein and veggies in there and some chips maybe, but always for the gains. 8 p.m. is my final meal of the day. I will eat nothing else after that, and my next meal would be at 12 p.m. around lunchtime around the next day. By the way, the 16 to 8 hour window, it can be any time during the day. So I do it from 12 to 8 because that fits my schedule really well, and I'm kind of a morning person, so I would rather fast in the morning and then eat my meals later in the day. But it's up to you when you want to do the 16 to 8 hour fast. So let's say, for example, you worked better at night and you really like breakfast. So you could start your meals in the morning. You could start them a lot earlier, just count 8 hours ahead and stop your meals maybe at 3 or 4, which means, from 4 to 6 a.m. or whatever, you would fast in that manner. And even the 16 to 8 hour time period you can manipulate as well. So, if you wanted to fast for 18 hours and then only do a 6 hour feeding window, then that's totally fine too. I think there's been a few studies trying to see whether a certain time gap is better than another. For example, whether 18 versus 6 or 16 versus 8, or even 24-hour fasts, whether one is more beneficial than the other. But I don't know if a lot of these studies are as conclusive as we would like them to be, but it just really fits my schedule. And just remember that at the end of the day, it is really just calories in versus calories out. And all I'm really doing is just changing the time of day that I'm eating and when I'm eating. I'm not really changing what I'm eating. I'm still trying to eat a really healthy diet, a really clean diet, get enough protein and vegetables. But, rather than eating all throughout the day and into the night, I am just focused on eating during an 8 hour window, and then I fast for 16 hours. So yeah, that pretty much covers my experience with intermittent fasting for the past 3 years and in medical school so far. I really enjoy this type of diet, and at the end of the day, it just comes down to eating healthy. I'm not kind of forcing anyone to practice intermittent fasting, but if you have any questions, or if you'd like to know maybe a little more of the science behind intermittent fasting, just leave a comment below. I think I'm probably gonna make a separate video diving into the research behind it, because I think it's super fascinating and really interesting. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you stay strong and healthy. And as always, Dr. Bayo.
Love is love. Adios. Love is love. Love is love.